First up on the Factor Uncensored is President Trump being petty. He says he is considering a plan to place illegal immigrants in sanctuary cities, especially cities where there are Democrats. Now, Trump tweeted this morning, the radical left always seems to have an open borders policy, open arms policy. So this should make them very happy. Homeland Security officials said the idea of releasing detainees to sanctuary cities had been discussed but was rejected. Democrats say Trump is using immigrants as a political pawn and trying to get revenge because they won't support his immigration policy.
We could fix that in so fast if the Democrats would agree. But if they don't agree, we might as well do what they always say they want. We'll bring them to sanctuary city areas and let that particular area take care of it.
It's just another notion that is unworthy of the presidency of the United States and disrespectful of the challenges that we face as a country, as a people, to address who we are, a nation of immigrants.
Now, immigration agencies apparently rejected the proposal when it was floated twice in the last 6 months. Joining us here to discuss this is educator and Chicano activist Tony Diaz and former Republican congressional candidate Justin Lurie. So it's almost mind-blowing that the President of the United States would consider such a ploy in order to get back at Democrats by saying we're going to dump illegal immigrants or undocumented workers, whichever you choose, into cities that are so-called sanctuary cities. Justin.
Well, I think this is really just another negotiating tactic that we see in many different ideas.
But should we be negotiating like that?
Well,
considering breaking the law. Many of them said that is illegal to do with the Department of Homeland Security.
The illegal immigrants?
But let's just stick with one illegal activity at a time.
Well, okay, so I'd really look at this in the aggregate big picture and say, I think there's another problem here, is that it's creating another incentive to come to America. So if you cross the border somewhere in Texas and said, we're going to put you on a bus to Denver, that might say to everyone who's in XYZ country, anywhere in the world, all I have to do is get to the soil and they'll take care of me. And then these sanctuary cities will give me health care, education, housing, everything. It seems like another incentive. So I think this is maybe a threat that may be going in the wrong direction and helping solve the problem. But to solve the problem...
You disagree? What?
Well,
this is a first?
Wow. Maybe, but I think to solve the problem...
Looking for lightning.
But if we want to solve the problem, really, we have to take away the incentives and we have to build the wall.
All right.
Just when he was making sense. Just when he was making sense. But, Isaiah,
go ahead, Tony.
How about this? Instead of talking about these mythical sanctuary cities, why doesn't the president and the administration propose taking the undocumented folks who arrive at the border and taking them to sanctuary golf courses? Okay, sanctuary golf courses because I want to remind folks that the Trump family owns all these Mar-a-Lago golf courses, and it was proven that they had hired undocumented labor for decades. And here's my point: he hired undocumented labor because he needed it, and if a billionaire is going to need to subsidize his employees with folks that will work hard for very little money, how can we expect other Texas families to not do the same? And right now, you've got undocumented labor helping with families, chicken farms, labor industry. So again, to me, it seems like a hypocrisy, and the president is painting Republicans into a corner because here in Texas, we've made immigration work. There's been deals where we know that maybe some families may be undocumented, but probably right now, this TV show is showing in a restaurant where probably undocumented people are serving the guacamole that people love. I say no guacamole for immigrant haters, and Trump needs to be serious about immigration.
And so that is a question, though. If he at some point had undocumented workers working at his private businesses, is he truly serious about this, or is he catering to his base?
I wouldn't say for a minute that, one, it's absolute fact that these workers who are allegedly undocumented are working there. And secondly, you made up a huge point that these are so-called sanctuary cities. Of course they're sanctuary cities, and it's dangerous. Tell that to the family of Kate Stiley, who was murdered by someone who's been deported over and over again. Tell it to people who live in Long Island, who are being held hostage by MS-13, who's been deported over and over again. Sanctuary cities are a real thing.
But if you marketing strategy.
If you really want to,
game.
wait, hold on, I give you a really good long filibuster you had there. If you really want to,
I'll give you time.
All right. If you really want to solve this problem, you need to enforce the laws on the books. And if you think we need to have open borders, if you think we need to have as many people come in here as you want, that's
You're
fine.
You're going off the rails now.
Go to Congress. Go to Congress. Convince the other congressmen. Convince the senators.
Let him wrap up, Rule.
And let all those people vote on your proposal and have the president sign it. Then the law will be followed. Make the law. Don't break it.
Tony, before we get to that, let's get to a very valid point. There have been some high-profile cases where illegal immigrants and or undocumented workers have been arrested and charged with killing American citizens. So how do you deal with that for those who are Trump supporters saying, there you go, that's what we expect them to do, that's what they're doing, that's why we need to build that wall?
Let's get something straight. Killers, gotta go. Murderers, gotta go. Drug cartels, gotta go. But let's get something really clear. If you really want to stop kingpins from cartels, they're not these poor folks who are struggling across the desert. Those are little kids, those are moms, those are poor dads. The drug kingpins are sneaking here in submarines because they're making trillions off drug-addicted Americans and people around the world. They're flying here on private jets, landing in secret airports. So I want to catch those bad guys too. This is not what that's about. This is Donald Trump making a work stoppage. He's actually sabotaging the work of Homeland Security and Border Patrol. He's not saying, I'm going to wisely place our resources. He's saying, I want to aggravate Democrats. He hasn't made the streets safer. And worse, this is taking time and energy away from catching those real bad guys. And honestly, if we had a deep discussion, remember Colombia. Colombia was a narco state. We put our heads together. People can now travel there. It's a travel destiny. We could do the same thing right now if people were serious about it.
Justin the last 30 seconds.
You talked about how the real drug kingpins are coming here in private jets and submarines. They're being funded by those coyotes, walking these women and children and abusing them. I mean, unspeakable crimes, the human trafficking of the women and the children and the sexual assaults and the rapes. It is leaving these borders the way it is now, that is funding these cartels and empowering them. That is the major problem. And if we want to solve this problem, we have to take away their power and their money. There's many ways to do this.
Coyotes will make more money with the wall. The wall will make them richer.
Thank you guys for coming here on The Factor Uncensored.